Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Captain Hook podcast. I am Ro, and these are the people here with me today.
Hi, I'm Lisa, and I'm Captain Hook podcast on Tumblr. Also, you brought me home on Tumblr, and that is not my voice opening up the podcast for once. We decided to shake it up just a little bit today.
Yeah. I'm Daniela, and I'm Queen Swan 20 on Tumblr and Queen Witch 151 on Twitter.
I'm Pip. I am Pirate Hero Killian on Tumblr and Pirate Hero Jones on Twitter.
So, today we are tackling episode 18, The Guardian, in which Pip was absolutely right.
I told you Alice was the Guardian. I was going down with that speculation.
You know what? I kind of figured after Anastasia went back to the Enchanted Forest, there was literally no one else left that could possibly be. So,
but I was saying that well before Anastasia disappeared. I was like, Anastasia is a red herring. Alice is the real Guardian. I've been saying that since 704. So, and what I thought was freaking hilarious is in the previously on for last night's episode, they basically gave away that Alice was the Guardian. Like, they're like, she's the fucking Guardian. Like, it's like, Jesus Christ, just flat out say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that this episode was awesome and that I really like the whole Matt Archer scenes were so cute and I died. And also, it's the first time I've seen Rumpel and Killian very civilized. And also, I would like to point out that I don't ship Shadow Queen anymore because Facile is a creep and an asshole, and he does not love Regina. He just uses her for his own agenda.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
I will say that I don't trust him at all.
I don't trust him, but he didn't. Alice took the dagger.
Yeah, but did she realize that she was taking it? Did she even realize that
she doesn't know she took it, but she took it. Rumpel figured it. That's what Rumpel told Regina. Facilia had nothing to do with the dagger. Alice took it before he even had a chance to take it because she knew something bad was going to happen.
Yes, because Facile wants his hands on that, and he's willing to kill to get it.
Yep.
And yes, and play Regina's heart to get it.
Besides, considering what we now know from the flashbacks, he not only has unfinished business with Rumpel, he also has unfinished business with Alice.
He does,
what she did wasn't really her fault.
It might have been him that framed her for the blind witch murder.
Might have been possible.
But considering the promo for next week's episode, it could have easily been Gothel too. So we're still in the same gray area with that.
And just to be clear, I wouldn't say that Hook and Rumpel are finally civilized. This is not the same Hook that saw Rumpel at his worst in Storybrooke.
But remember, what Wishhook said last night. He's like, everybody sees you as a hero, including my less dashing other self. So it's implied there that they sort of,
become friends.
Yeah, they're not. I wouldn't say they're friends, like necessarily, like it was implied last night, or like it was stated last night that Rumpel and Wishhook are. But
I'm pretty sure it was established that he left Storybrooke very soon after Gideon's first birthday. So, I mean, they're not even associated with each other anymore.
Okay, before we even get into this, I got bulldozed in my inbox with a bunch of anonymous messages, and I don't know if this is a troll. I have a feeling. I'm pretty certain that this is the same person sending me a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh no.
Some of it is about New Hook versus Old Hook and that relationship with Rumpelstiltskin, and some of it is about their dislike of the idea that supposedly they believe that Alice is supposed to be the new Emma. They feel like Emma's being written out in favor.
That's a troll. I would leave those ones go.
Yeah.
So the stuff about Alice is a troll, but the stuff about Rumple and the two hooks, that's legitimate.
I'm thinking those are legitimate ones. The Alice ones, I can tell you that's a troll because that's been fished around the fandom for a couple of weeks now.
Yep.
So
to be honest, I feel like being the guardian is more of a burden, whereas the savior was more of a calling.
The thing is, if there wasn't already a precedent set by people in the fandom going around fishing about comparing Alice to Emma, my friend has been getting a lot of asks about it already, and she's not even involved, like, say, with the podcast. So it's something that's been fished around even before it was confirmed that Alice was the guardian. So, like, legitimately confirmed. So I'm thinking that's a troll. The two hook one is probably legitimate.
Yeah.
So, looks like what this anonymous person is saying is that they feel like the writers have denied us seeing the progression of the relationship between OG Hook and Rumple, and given us like a quick sort of write-off. Yeah, they become friends for New Hook and Rumple. Okay. We don't know what happened between Killian and Rumple in Storybrooke. All we know is that what Ro had said, that Rumple and Belle and Gideon likely left sometime shortly after Gideon's first birthday. Because, Rumple wanted to be able to give to Belle what he had denied her before because of all his bullshit. He wanted to allow her to travel and see the world and see all the realms. So, from what I saw before this, it looked to me like, okay, I'm going to admit, our Killian and Rumple ain't never going to be friends. It's just never going to happen. Yep. But they fell into a sort of tolerance relationship where it's kind of like frenemies, where they don't actively try to kill each other, but they kind of respect each other's distance in a way. Like, he knows, okay, Rumple's here, he's part of the family, I tolerate him for that reason and that reason alone. Will they ever be friends in the way that New Hook is with Rumple? Likely not.
Hell no.
But then again, we haven't seen what happens in Storybrooke at all, after season 6.
And
except very tiny little smidgens. So we really don't know.
I think, like I said, I think the comment from Wishhook, my less dashing other self, that comment, and Rumple's reactions to what Wishhook was saying to him. It's like Rumple wanted to say, but I've changed, and he knows he can't because his Killian doesn't know him. Like, he wasn't outright aggressive with Killian in any way. He could have easily been. He could have been antagonistic like they have been in the past, but he never was when Killian was trying to get Rumple to leave Alice alone. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe they're not going to be buddy-buddy. They're not going to be going out hanging out the rabbit hole or anything, but I think it might be a little bit more than tolerable, but it's not going to be best friends sort of deal. Just based on context of what I was seeing.
I think that it likely became that member of the family that you're cool with, but like not close to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly how my father is with my mother's sister Patty. It's like that. Because my sister Mango, Auntie Patty's have little flaws that my dad doesn't like and rubs it the wrong way. It's similar to that. And also I wanted to point out when Rumple was like giving flowers to Belle's shrine in the first scene. And it kind of reminded me to the movie Coco, when the whole skeletons and the flowers thing, like from the Day of the Dead thing, and I'm like, that's a very Disney's Coco reference, even though they haven't put the characters in the series because they didn't have time, but they did a little Coco reference to that.
I don't know.
Well,
I got more voodoo vibes from that thing, but it could have been a sort of Dia de los Muertos. I don't know.
What is really irking me is that a lot of these anonymous messages are saying the same thing over and over, that the rivalry is between Killian, our Hook, and Rumple, and not New Hook and Rumple, as if they lived on two completely separate timelines, which is bullshit. I'm tired of hearing this same argument over and over. They lived the same life. They lost the same persons. They tumbled into the same darkness, became the same pirate, and went on the same fucking vengeance quest for 300 fucking years. That did not change. The only thing that changed was one met Emma Swan and the other didn't until later on. Much later on.
I think what they're trying to say, I get what they're trying to say, is they didn't get the resolution between Rumple and original Killian like we just got with Rumple and Wish Hook. And I can understand that, but at the same time, it's the same reason why we're not seeing original Killian. It's the same reason we're not seeing Captain Swan and all that stuff in Storybrooke. Those characters in that story are done with. We're going to probably see them we're going to see them in some capacity in the finale. But this season was never about that. This season isn't about OG Killian. So you're not going to get that resolution. You're just going to have to...
Not only that, but they're forgetting that these two characters, even though they are technically, biologically the same person, emotionally, they become two very different people. And the grudging acceptance and, like, I'm cool with Eunice that our Killian gives him in Storybrooke, knowing Killian as we do, is probably as far as it will ever get. Because that's the way that Killian is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if something happened to his child or to Emma and Rumple did something to sacrifice himself to save Killian's family, who knows? Might have...
That we'll add the addendum that was purely sacrificial. That wasn't self-serving in any way. It was purely heroic, because what Rumple did with Alice was purely heroic.
Exactly. And Killian knows Rumple in a way that, from all he has seen with his eyeballs, is that every time Rumple does something he assumes to be sacrificial, there's always something in it for him in the long run. So he might, he's like, I'm cool with you. I'm not going to kill you because, you are a member of the family, but, we ain't friends. But the other Wish Hook Killian, with his eyeballs, saw Rumple give up any chance he had to be with Belle. He had it right in the palm of his hand. All Alice had to do is whatever it was she was going to do with that ball of magic, and Rumple would have been free. He literally was free. The darkness was ripped out of his body. He was no longer the Dark One. He could have died and been free and gone back to Belle. And he made that decision on his own. Say, no, you deserve better than for me to have to burden you with this darkness. Sacrificing all of that. So, yeah, I mean, I can see, I don't think that Wish Hook and Rumple will be like buddy-buddy going out into the bar and having a drink. But I think that Killian found a newfound respect for him.
I also think that Rumple found a new respect for Killian. And because
exactly
something happened last night that has never happened in the history of Once Upon a Time. Rumpelstiltskin actually took Killian Jones's words to heart. He was hearing Belle in his head, but what he told Alice, the reason he gave Alice for why she shouldn't have to do this, was exactly what Killian had said to him. And that's the first time that's ever happened. So I think they're on a mutual respect sort of thing. And I think it was probably because this Killian is a father, and it kind of... I think Rumple sees what he always wanted to be with Bay and couldn't be in this Killian Jones. And I think he respects that.
Look, as far as resolutions go, I mean, he's out of Emma and Killian's lives for good. That's all the resolution I need.
You know what, though? Honestly, I think one of the most powerful scenes in the whole episode was after Rumpel made that sacrifice and he was standing in the little woods there, and you can tell that the darkness had finally taken him over. His face wasn't quite fully covered, but it was almost. And the heartbreaking look on his face, that he knew he had given whatever chance he had had just gone up in smoke. And Killian just stands there like in an abject state of shock that he couldn't believe that Rumpel had done that, because he'd always known him to be a completely self-centered and selfish person.
Well, he still is.
And then when Killian extends his hand to shake his hand to say thank you for helping her and for not saddling her with that burden and for setting her free, the look and reaction on Rumpelstiltskin's face, the way that he reacted, he could not believe that this pirate, this man who he'd had this blood feud with for 300 years, was actually like wanting to shake his hand and, you know, didn't say some nasty shit about him or didn't threaten to kill him or actually treated him with just a smidgen of kindness. Whereas they've never had that, which never ever happened. I mean, you could tell he felt very uncomfortable shaking Hook's hand, but at the same time, it was like a weight had come off of his shoulders. Like he felt, I don't know how to describe it. It was like that both of them had felt like this sense of completion, like all of that nastiness was finally over.
It also finally makes sense why Rumpel hasn't woken up Rogers in Hyperion Heights. I now understand why. He wants to give him, because as soon as Rogers wakes up, he's going to remember who he is. He's going to remember about Alice. He's going to remember about the curse on the heart that they can't fix. And I think Rumpel is trying to give him his happiness with his daughter that he couldn't have otherwise. That's why Rumpel hasn't tried to wake up Hook yet.
Yeah, but that's amazing, because in the past in the history of this show, these two have never done nothing for either, and they're hitting each other.
Well, that's not true. That's very much not true. But because Killian has sacrificed himself for Rumpelstiltskin.
I mean,
Rumpel ruined it. And they have done stuff. Rumpel got Killian out of the
underworld.
Yeah, not necessarily. He helped him get him away from Hades, which Killian also recognized. He gave him a stay of execution, which was one of. But again, Rumpel was Rumpel. So they have done stuff for each other, but it was always, you know, sort of begrudgingly. Last night was the first time where it was genuinely good, I guess.
And I know some people are like, how could Killian find it so easy to forgive him for all the shit that he did? I'm like, okay, first of all, you have to remember that this version of Hook did not have that extra 30 years of experiences that Killian had. Or, you know, that Killian saw him, you know, do all this other shit in Storybrooke. Or the way he treated Belle and helping the Snow Queen with their curse and all the other shit that he did. Wishhook does not have that experience. The last time he has had any interaction with Rumpelstiltskin was just before he was captured by Snow White and Prince Charming and imprisoned in their dungeons. So really, you know, I can understand why Wishhook would find it a little bit easier to I mean, he did find it easy to believe that Rumpel could be any kind of hero at all.
Exactly.
But I can understand why it wouldn't take as much for this version of Killian as our version for him to come around on that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm very proud of how Rumpel has changed over the past seasons and to be the person he is now. But he did have in the present time, he did kind of have a fallout.
Yes.
He started to slip. He definitely started to slip. And that was the most obvious when he stole the one thing that Regina had to
save Henry.
To save Henry. And he used that. And I
that was so dumb. That was so damn dumb. Oh my god.
He slipped up, but when he realized when he thought that Alice had purposely taken the dagger, when he realizes that she hadn't purposely taken the dagger, that she had done it, but she didn't know she had done it. And when he realizes why, he realizes how much she had messed up. And that scene with Regina in the evidence locker, for once, I felt for Rumpel in this situation. Usually you feel for Regina because she was constantly being manipulated by this dude. But that scene in the evidence locker, and Regina's like, I am done with you. We are through. And I was just like, okay, Regina, pump the brakes here. I get that you're angry. I get that he messed up, but...
Well, you know, it's just we have to understand that at the same time she's angry that he ruined his chance to help Henry to start being poisoned. But at the same time, when Rumpel told her that the facility didn't love her, she just used her to get the dagger. She didn't believe it because she was blinded by what she was feeling for Facile. And right now she's angry with him because she ruined the one chance that she had to save Henry. And I kind of understand that, but she was kind of a little too hard on the guy.
I think she was. I honestly think she was, especially when she mentions that you just ruined the one chance I had to save Henry. He looked genuinely remorseful. He looked like, I know. And he realized, we also have to remember that this magic that's running through him is the darkest magic ever. It took Emma for a short period of time to where she was willing to kill Zelina. It obviously took Killian. And Rumpel, I felt for him. I felt like this is the one chance the one moment where you actually see he wasn't in control of the magic that's in him.
Ro, thoughts?
Sorry, my mother always said if you can't say anything nice about someone, don't say anything at all.
It's okay.
You know, honestly, I feel for both of them. I know how desperate, as a mother, this is speaking as a mom, I know how desperate I would be if my child was in a dire strait and I had something that could save them and somebody took it and somebody took it away from me. I know that I'd be pissed off. I get that she's desperate. I also get the desperation that Rumpel feels. And I know a lot of people would say, oh, he just doesn't want anybody else to have their hands on that dagger but him because he's the Dark One. Like, you don't understand. In the past, that might have been true. But you have to think about what he's been saying about Facilier all along. About how powerful Facilier is. Did you see that scene where he was talking with Facilier in his apartment? And Facilier's motherfucker has magic in the land without magic.
I know, that's what I was just about to say. He
pushed him out into his car and Rumpel was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mentioned it last week on Tumblr. I was like, Facilier's magic, maybe because it's voodoo magic and not necessarily the traditional magic that Rumpel and Regina and Zelina use. Maybe it's because it's voodoo magic, which does have a presence in the real world, in the land without magic. Maybe that's it, but his magic is working on a whole other level because it was obvious he had some from the beginning. Because his first scene in Hyperion Heights, the lights flickered when he showed up in Ronnie's bar. So it's clear he has some connection to some sort of magic, but to see it in action with him killing Nick with the voodoo doll and last night when he flicked Rumpel out of his house, it was just like, oh my God.
You could tell by the way that Rumpel was reacting at the police station. He had told Rogers, you damn well know the only person that has the combination to the interrogation room is you and me. And the only person that has the combination to the evidence locker is you and me. And for Facilier to be able to, get through, and it wasn't a lock like with a key. It was an electronic combination lock. He also, not only did he get through those two doors, he also disabled the cameras.
Well, no, he didn't get into the evidence locker. That was Alice.
Well, but the point is, whatever magic is at work, whether it's hers or Facilier's, whatever, it's more powerful than I think even Rumple's dealt with. And Rumple's got the power of every single Dark One running through his veins.
Well, we know Alice's magic is more powerful because it's supposed to be powerful enough to get rid of the darkness for good. And it's clearly strong. It's clearly more powerful than the curse in the Land Without Magic because she could hear the dagger. She went and protected the dagger.
I'm not even sure that Rumple realized that Facilier had actual magic. I mean, he knew that Facilier had access to magical objects, which even in the Land Without Magic you could still use. We already saw that with Zelena in season 4. You can still use it, or 3. But I don't think he realized that Facilier still had the ability to cast magic, like from his own body. So when he went, whooshed him back out into his car, the way the look on his face, he was like, "What's the ever-loving fuck?" He didn't realize that Facilier had magic. So now that's an even bigger wall that he's got to deal with. And the very idea that somebody broke into the evidence locker, who at the time he thought was
Facilier,
stole the dagger. Do you have any idea what Facilier could do if he had that dagger and was able to use it to control Rumple?
Oh,
there might not be much that he could do magic-wise, in Hyperion Heights. But there's a fuck of a lot that he can do if they went to Storybrooke, or if Facilier had a magic being or some form of transport to get him back to the Enchanted Forest.
Oh dear.
He would be the most powerful person in any realm. Because we're not just talking about a Rumple with who is the Dark One. We're talking about a Rumple who is all of the Dark Ones put together.
Yeah. So for me, Facilier is like the Rumple of this series. They have similarities, because Facilier is selfish. He's addicted to power, and his bad habit is self-perseverance. And I just don't really. If he did love Regina, if he did care for her, he wouldn't manipulate her with the kissy and the good act and the whole niceness to then go do evil stuff and hurt her, manipulate her for his own reason. So I just think that he's kind of like Facilier's kind of like Rumple in sort of ways, because Rumple sees himself the way he was the past years, 100 million of years when he was a Dark One, in Facilier, so they kind of relate that.
But he's still the one who gave her the magic to save Henry in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah. He didn't know that Rumple was going to take that magic and waste it. He legitimately gave her something that she could use to save Henry. So he's still a gray area sort of character. And the thing is, unlike next week where we know that Gothel is going to be gone afterwards, we don't know the story with Facilier. And I think that Facilier might possibly be the catalyst that kicks off whatever happens in the finale.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be Gothel.
I can tell you that whatever Facilier is doing, it ain't good. Because let's not forget that while Henry and Rogers were at Nick's apartment trying to get some answers, they realized that Naveen was in there too. Yep. And when Rogers confronted Naveen outside, Naveen was so terrified of what Facilier might do to him or to anybody else that he cared about, Tiana, that he was trying to get evidence that he could use against him to get out from under Facilier's thumb. Whatever this dude is about, it ain't cool. I don't care how smart he fucking looks, or I don't care how much you want to ship him with Regina. I don't like him, at all.
Me neither.
I think he's a good liar. That's about it.
And he's a womanizer.
I wouldn't say he's a womanizer. He's not a womanizer.
Well,
no, because the only person
He's a
he's had his eyes on
Regina-izer.
is Regina.
He's only cares about Regina, so he's not a womanizer. But
I mean, like he's like a sweet. He's putting the whole good guy act sweet talker thing with Regina,
I don't
just to
know.
put her
It's
in
just
inflation. But I just
Did
think
you
I
all
don't know.
did you all notice the state of his heart when Alice ripped it from his chest?
Yes,
dark.
Most of it was black. Most of it was black with a little bit of red in the middle.
a lot of like a medium circle of red and with a lot of black.
And I'm not just talking about black vines like Regina had. I'm talking about bark black, like Rumpelstiltskin.
It's like Rumples, but it still had that
Goodness.
smidgen of goodness in there. I don't know.
Just-
I don't know. I don't necessarily think he's a good guy, but at the same time, I don't. It doesn't feel like this whole season has been nothing but a bunch of red herrings. So they've been trying to misdirect with so many different things this season that the only thing that's been absolutely straight fucking forward has been Gothel is terrible. That's it. So anything else, including Facilier, has been what is the real story going on here? Tremaine, it was what is the real story going on here? Drusilla, what is the real story going on here? The whole Guardian thing. Who is Rogers or Hook's daughter? You know, what's the whole story with Alice? You know, everything has been kind of a misdirect until you get the direct answer from the episode itself. So I'm not sure what's going on with Facilier. It's very, very odd. I feel like there's another piece to the puzzle that we're not seeing.
Yeah,
because why did this character suddenly show up?
Exactly. And also, I just feel bad that they didn't show us. I think this next episode should have been half about Gothel's backstory, half about Facilier's motivation, how he and Regina met, sort of thing.
What is episode 20?
The Flower Child.
Oh, that's next week.
Next week is Flower Child, and then it's episode 20 is, was it Who is Henry Mills or something?
Yes,
like
that's
that?
right. That's right.
Is
okay.
this Henry Mills? Is this Henry Mills?
And then 21 is Homecoming, and then 22 is Leaving Storybook.
I couldn't remember what 720 was. That's probably where we're gonna get the whatever's happened, the end game with Facilier. I feel like that's where it's gonna happen.
I'm pretty sure that's when the curse is probably gonna be broken.
I think I think next week Alice and Rogers are gonna Tilly and Rogers are gonna wake up.
That's what I'm saying right now on Twitter with some of my friends here. And
I think I also can't. What Rose tweeted to me, she was very vague about it, which I think is deliberate. Because I asked after the promo last night, I tweeted to her, I was like, is that the one where you said that Colin fell out of the bed and was doing the zombie noises, was trying to get you to crack up in your take? And she was like, no, I think that's the next one. Or wait a minute, is that next week? I don't know, but you'll know when you see it. So we know that there's something coming. And I think because she says that he's in a hospital bed and she's supposed to be saying something to him. Rogers is about to go through it again. And I don't know. My feeling is whatever's going to happen is because their story is very strongly tied to Gothel's. I mean, the first episode she was in was connected to Killian and to Alice. So, like, as Gothel, the character.
Yeah.
Ro, you were saying? Go ahead.
Sorry.
I just want to know why Gothel wanted the curse cast in the first place. Why she encouraged Drusilla to do it. I mean, everything she wanted from Alice with the Guardian, she could have gotten in the Enchanted Forest, or maybe less people with magic gave her more of an advantage.
Well, this next week's episode is supposed to be that backstory, so we're finally going to figure out what exactly her motivation is in all this mess.
Okay, did anybody like the date between Alice and Robin? I mean, Margaret and Tilly, this episode?
Of course, I think they're adorable. So,
they're very adorbs.
They're a cute little ship.
This is what happens when showrunners handle a relationship properly, like they did with Captain Swan. They don't make it too automatically say, "Oh, they're true love" and everything. They let you see the relationship as it unfolds.
Technically, they did do that.
Well,
no. I keep seeing people say they didn't start out saying these two are true love and all that stuff right from the get-go. No, that's exactly what they did. They did it in the mid-season finale.
Well, they didn't true love kiss him or nothing.
No, because remember what Killian said to Alice. He said, "True love will always, true love can overcome, can overcome."
But because we just don't have the time to see how it entirely played out in flashbacks, we're seeing somewhat of how it's playing out in the real world.
Well,
which is just as good.
They're doing that same thing with Henry and Ella. But it's not working.
Exactly. Sometimes you have people with really great chemistry, like Tiara and Rose, and then you have. I swear, when the scene where he goes over to her apartment. Okay, I have to talk about this because this is just soul crushing. Every time I see them in a scene, it hurts my soul. He comes over to her apartment to talk to her about what happened with Nick, and well, first of all, she doesn't really react too much to this man who is supposedly the father of her child. Oh, really? Wow, that's just too bad. And then when he gives her the paternity results that Nick had, proving that Henry is in fact the father of her child, you would expect that someone who supposedly has feelings for you and who really likes you and who's desperate for you to stay would have more of a reaction to finding out that you are in fact the father of her child. Like this, what the fuck, what is going on here? And instead, the look on her face was just like, "What? Really? Wow."
Well,
I'm just like,
cursed.
I don't care if she's cursed. That didn't matter with anybody else that was cursed.
Think about the meet cute between Alice and Margot. I mean, Tilly and Margot. They're both cursed, and they both still had that spark. It was there, and they still have that. There's something there, and it's palpable. You can feel it when you're watching these two. I still feel absolutely nothing watching Henry and Jacinda. Nothing. It doesn't work.
She finds out the man who she thought was the father of her child is not the father of her child. The man she barely knows is. No reaction. Just, oh, wow, really? That's strange. I'm like, seriously?
No disrespect to Danya. I just don't think she does a good job as this character.
I think Danya does a very good job, better doing Ella than doing Jacinda. Cause
I don't think she does a good job as either character. I'm sorry. It's just she doesn't sell me on the character. It's the one character this entire season that I am just bored watching.
I'm sorry to say, but in this instance, you are definitely right. I've always prided once about being really good with their casting choices, but this time, once in 7 years, they miscast.
I agree. Terribly. And if once out of all the bazillions of iconic characters they've cast has been fallen short for, I know some people love her, and I'm not trying to tell them they're wrong. From a personal standpoint, I cannot connect with her. I can't connect with the actress as the character, no matter which version she's playing. There's hardly been any instances where I've been sitting here and go, I like this character. It's just it doesn't feel genuine, and that's why I can't get into the whole Henry and Jacinda thing or Henry and Ella thing. It's not doing it for me.
You know who I thought they should have casted as this version of Cinderella who's going to be the true love Henry? Isis Rodriguez. She's the daughter of a singer called El Puma, and she appeared in this Traveler show that they did. They canceled last year. She speaks English very good, just like Danya does, and I thought they were gonna cast her as this version of
It's
Cinderella for
it is.
season 7.
I'm not going to get into who should be or shouldn't be the character. She is the character. I'm not going to, say someone else should have played the character necessarily. It doesn't work. It's the only part of this season that has not worked for me. Everything else about this season I have been on board with. Even Gothel. I hate the character. I loathe her. I'm ready for her to die, and God, do I hope it's Killian that kills her. But as a villain, she's fantastic.
I know.
Absolutely.
She's absolutely fantastic. She works. Tremaine, once we found out her story, it worked. Drusilla, once we found out the story, it worked. Everything, once you find out, Jacinda, it was like, she was the one character where they threw her in your face right from the get-go, and they're like, this is the character you're supposed to fall in love with. I had people tweeting me saying, you're going to love this character, and I watched her, and I was like, I don't see what y'all are seeing. I think it's because they're trying to force her into this place that she can't deliver.
Right. She when I first saw her in the first episode, and she was wearing that blue ball gown, and she was on the motorbike and whatever, I thought I liked her sass. I thought she was really good at playing the vulnerability where it was necessary, and I liked her sass. But the problem was that she seemed so, like you said, forced. Like, I felt like she didn't feel like she belonged in the Enchanted Forest. Even though she was wearing a ball gown and, was supposed to be playing this well-known fairy tale character, Ella, the way she plays it, does not feel like she's from the Enchanted Forest. It feels like she's playing somebody who was from the real world, who got transported to the Enchanted Forest and became Ella. Like, she just doesn't feel like she belongs there. I had the same feeling back in the back half of season 4 when they introduced the Queens of Darkness. And I had no problem with Ursula, and I had no problem Marin Dungy was fucking phenomenal. I loved her. And of course,
Victoria
Mal is Mal. But now before y'all get pissed at me, Victoria Smurfett was fucking phenomenal as Cruella. She was great.
Oh, she was.
No one could have played it better. But she just, when she appeared in the Enchanted Forest the way she did, I was like,
well, she's not from
there.
Why
are you here?
She's not from there.
I know she's not from there, but I just didn't understand why she even went there in the first place.
She was summoned by Rumpelstiltskin. She was summoned by Rumpelstiltskin.
She just did not feel like she belonged in their company. We had these two other people who were magical beings and real threats, and this chick who has dragon breath.
No, she belongs there. She belonged there. She just was from a completely different realm.
Which
we find out later on.
And also, I just love
how
she replaced her. She just is the successor of Glenn Close playing this character.
The thing is, Ella is supposed to be from the Enchanted Forest, and she feels like she doesn't belong Once Upon a Time at all.
Exactly. I mean,
it's like even in Hyperion Heights, there are just times where I was just like, it sounds like she's reading a script, not playing a character.
I gotta say,
I hate to come off so brutal and so blatant about it, but it doesn't work. We are 18 episodes in, and nothing for this character.
Ro?
Well, in regards to characters who do work, when you see Tiara with the hood and the bow, you get it with her. I mean, when she's Robin and Margot, and I love the fact that even as Margot, we see her as a bartender, just like her dad used to be before he was Robin Hood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you have all these characters that come. first time we saw Tilly, the instant we saw Tilly, I was like, I'm gonna love her. I could feel it. My instinct was that's a daughter of Killian Jones, but
and
I
have to commend whoever cast Rose for this role, because no one could have been more perfect to play this. She is a living Tilly. She's perfect.
Yeah, she's fantastic, and same thing with Makia as Tiana, perfect.
Yes.
What's his name that plays Facilier? Absolutely perfect.
Daniel Francis.
Yes, he's fantastic.
Yep.
Who else? What other characters have they kind of covered? I mean, even Nick as
Nathan
Hansel.
Parsons.
Yeah, as Hansel / Jack. It worked, even though we didn't know who this guy was. It still worked, and of course, once we found out who exactly he was, did it work really, really well? He was fantastic as Hansel. So it's the only piece that doesn't connect. Is all I'm saying.
It's okay. For me, I think Dania is, for me, in my opinion, my favoritism of the actress is to play Ella. I think she does very good with Ella, for me at least, and Gabrielle as Lady Tremaine / Rapunzel, she was not bad, and Makia as Tiana, she was perfect for the role. She was perfect, and Geoffrey, who plays Naveen, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And Tara as Robin, amazing. And also, I point out that she's in her present time. She's doing the bartendery thing like Robin Hood, her father, did. And dude, Adelaide Kane as Drusilla, top notch.
Even the actress they got to play the younger version of Ella in the flashbacks felt more realistic.
Yep.
And felt more like she belonged in the show than Danya. Danya feels like she walked onto this set by accident from another television series.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to come off as being a bitch, but it's just, you're right. It feels like she's phoning it in, like she's just reading off the script and not really putting herself into the role.
It doesn't work, and I've been trying to just find some sort of connection to her, and it's at this point I just have to admit it's never going to happen.
I am sure that Danya is a great actress. This is not a reflection of her abilities as an actress. Sometimes people are just miscast, and it happens. It's not the first time.
Yep.
And this is not me saying that, I don't like her because she's Hispanic and she doesn't seem to fit the role. She could have been Black, Asian, Native American. I don't care. If she could work it, she can work it. This time it just didn't work. It had nothing to do with her skin color or her cultural background. The way that she's played the role just she doesn't fit. She just doesn't click. Yeah. When Jessie Schramm plays Ella in Storybook, she fits.
Yeah.
She fits. You can see that she's an Enchanted Forest character. You can see that she's a fairy tale character, even though she's in Storybook.
Mm-hmm.
She has that aura.
So
Danya just does not.
Maybe move on, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I would just like to say that speaking of things that work it, Margot has got game. So, the way she was asking Tilly out, and she's very assertive.
She's just like her mother.
She's like, "You're gonna spend the day with me because I didn't use all this lip gloss for nothing, yo. So you're gonna spend the day with me."
She's just
this is definitely a day.
She's honestly, you can tell that she's the child of Robin Hood and the Wicked Witch. You can just tell. Tiara does a fantastic job of embodying. For the most part, they're fantastic about finding these actors that are really, really good of embodying the people. The way Jennifer Morrison was able to kind of portray that she was the child of Snow White and Prince Charming, of David Nolan.
I have this feeling that when Tiara first got the part, she probably watched a bunch of episodes with the Wicked Witch to get her mannerisms down and to get those little scraps and pieces of how she acts and her sass and her attitude and how she approaches things. And she's used those little tidbits, just like she probably watched episodes with Robin to use those little tidbits in there and put them together in the perfect little mesh.
Yeah. Exactly. Same way that Rose, she can get some of Colin's mannerisms down really, really well. She gets some of those Killian mannerisms. You can see it. Like the first time I saw her, I was just like, that has to be a child of Killian Jones. There's absolutely no way that character is not his daughter.
She's definitely got the eyebrow. That's faux show.
The eyebrow, the head tilts, the quirking her mouth in a certain way. You know, the swagger when she's Alice for sure. And then the lack of self-confidence is also very much something that she when she's as Tilly.
And also one very, very important trait that is intrinsic to who Killian Jones is as a person. Unwavering loyalty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unwavering loyalty to those she cares for.
Yeah, loyal to her father, loyal to Rumple, that was very, very cool of her. I respect her for that. And
to
her
Robin.
Loyalty to she's very much her father's daughter. Again, and then there's Andrew, who's fantastic as Henry. We've gone on and on about how fantastic he is as Henry. And
whoever found him and cast him is a genius, because I swear when we first saw the pictures of him, I thought that I was like, this dude's got to be Henry because he looks just like Jared. For real, he looks just like Jared.
The thing is, what's exceptionally mind-blowing for me is I saw him first on The Walking Dead as Gareth. And if you've ever seen him as Gareth, nothing like what he does as Henry. Two completely different characters. So, because Gareth is, if you've watched The Walking Dead, he plays a cannibal. No. He plays a cannibal. But he's a very charismatic cannibal. So
he's no Hannibal Lecter. No.
His resemblance to Jared was so uncanny that it took like less than 2 seconds for most of the fandom to realize that he was in fact going to be playing an older version of Henry.
Mm-hmm. It's just
I love it, and I really love how Andrew plays Henry. He kind of I think like Rose and like Tierra, he kind of watched episodes of the past seasons of Once Upon a Time to kind of study how the character was when he was younger, and to follow how he was now with older.
Andrew has done this fantastic, mind-blowing thing where he's not only embodies what he's brought in, what Jared's done and brought it to a whole new level, he's also brought in characteristics from Killian, from Charming, from Emma, from Regina, and even a bit of I think even a bit of Rumpelstiltskin too, because that is his grandfather. So I think he's found a way to make it work where you're sitting and watching this character and you can tell this is an older Henry. This is a person that grew up with all these storybook characters that he did.
Yeah. So I really like the whole bracelet thing between
me too.
Robin and Alice, and then later on with Tilly and Margot. Like,
I was so sure when she put that bracelet on that she was going to wake up, but she didn't. She's like, oh, come on. I want them to wake up. I want Rogers to wake up. He wrote it so badly. I want that moment where he remembers who he is and he goes and puts his hook back on. I was like, I need it. I needed it.
You know, that bar scene when Tilly walks in to apologize to Mario for, running out on her. The way that Tierra approached that, the mannerisms and how she reacted to Tilly's explanation, her general attitude, and then that little scene at the end where after she ties the bracelet onto Tilly's wrist, Tilly tries to grab her fingers, with a little affection, but Margot is still a little bit wary, and she kind of pulls her hand away and gives her this little demure look. That part with the pulling the hand away is very Robin.
Yep.
But the attitude she had where, well, you really shouldn't, that she was upset that she got ditched, whatever, that's very Zelena. Like automatically assuming that it was something that she did and not really understanding that Tilly was having some issues.
Yeah.
But automatically jumping to the wrong conclusion, that is very Zelena.
Mm-hmm. And very Killian Jones, because Killian liked Rom.
It's also no surprise to me that Alice is the guardian. There is not a dark bone in that girl's body.
That's what I was because I've been saying it since when she first ran into Rumple. I was like, that's her. They did blatantly just said that she's the guardian. And then they went on this whole Anastasia thing. I was like, what are y'all doing? We know it's Alice. And when they said that the guardian had to be pure of heart, I was like, Alice? Tilly? She's like the most pure character on the show. I think she was even more pure than Anastasia, I think.
So what does this mean, though? Because neither of them knew how this magic was supposed to work. But as soon as Alice held the dagger in her hand, it was working itself. The magic was ripped out of Rumpelstiltskin's body. His name came off of the dagger, so he wasn't the Dark One anymore. Then the dagger transformed itself into like this massive ball of magic. I don't know what was going to happen for Light. I don't know what was going to happen from there. If Tilly is meant to absorb that and take the darkness into herself, or what.
My understanding of it was that she was going to get rid of the darkness.
Then why would Rumple not want her to do that? Why would he assume it would be a burden on?
I don't know. Maybe he's misunderstanding.
Because he said that he wanted her to be able to have a life with the person that she loved, and that if she was immortal, it would mean she would be able to have that happiness. Which I'm taking that to mean that he thinks that she's going to take the darkness into herself.
I'm thinking because I haven't really rewatched Beauty, so I really can't tell you how, because Belle explains it in that episode, but I don't know if he
not really. All she said was that the guardian is supposed to take it
and make it go away for good. She emphasized that. She emphasized that the guardian is supposed to take this isn't the same thing as killing the Dark One and becoming the Dark One. She's not taking the darkness into herself. That would be killing him, like stabbing him in the heart and with dagger. That's not what she's doing. I think she's eliminating the darkness. And
then why would he stop her?
He's scared.
That wasn't why he stopped her. He stopped her because he was afraid she was going to be taking on a burden that she shouldn't have to take on. He assumed
he's scared that he's giving her his burden. He's terrified that he's going to give this pure-hearted soul his burden.
So he doesn't realize that she's supposed to get rid of it for good?
I think that's what happened. I think it was him having a moment of, oh my God, what am I about to do? That's why he steps in and does it. I think she's going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
But that's the point. He should already know this.
He doesn't know. He didn't do it. Belle did it. He's not the one that found this out.
But he read the passage, right?
I don't think he ever did. She just told him. I don't know.
You would think that someone who prides himself on knowing everything there is to know about every magic ever, that he would have read the passage for himself to know all the intricacies of what was required. I mean, he obviously knows something because he knows that he can't commit any dark acts or will negate any possibility of him being able to reunite with Belle. He knew this going in, which is why he spent all this time being as good as he possibly could be.
Maybe it's something. Maybe it has to be a pure sacrifice, and it wasn't in that case because he had manipulated her. Maybe it's something.
I just wish it would be more clear.
I think that's supposed to be because we're not supposed to really figure out. It's obvious that Rumple's going to die by the end of the season. So
yeah,
I don't know how. I think they're trying to keep it under wraps how it's supposed to work necessarily to keep the mystery there. What's going to happen to Alice?
Isn't he supposed to be done by like episode 20?
No, he's in the finale. No, he's in the finale. He is absolutely 100% in the finale.
Oh,
because Emily's there too.
Yeah, they filmed their scene. I think that's his final scene. I think that's when Rumple dies. Is the moment when she's there because she's in the yellow bell dress, the infamous yellow bell dress. So,
bell dress.
Yeah.
So that's like in heaven.
I think that's when he's supposed to necessarily. I think what they're trying to hide is what's supposed to happen to Alice, because now, especially when they were writing this episode, they would have known that everyone was invested in Alice at this point, which I think they were kind of hoping was going to happen, especially because she's the daughter of Killian Jones. So I think they were kind of hoping that everyone was going to get attached to her, which they have, and I think they're now trying to build on the mystery and the suspense of what is this pertaining, because at this point it's not about Rumple. We know Rumple, what the end game is for Rumple here, and I think Emily posting about her little whatever scene that she did kind of gave away that that's where it's heading. It's about Alice now. What's going to happen to her, because now she's clearly someone that's very, very powerful, and whatever this magic is supposed to do, it's supposed to be something that's very, very important. So they don't want to give it away.
I just can't help but wonder, I mean, if she was always meant to be the Guardian, why does she come from a realm that was created with a wish?
She wasn't.
Well, her father.
She was born in Ella's Enchanted Forest realm, because Hook was drawn out from his own wish realm by Henry asking for help. Remember, with the little bottle?
But no,
so when Henry asked for help, they both wound up responding.
People can't seem to wrap their head around the fact that the original wish realm that we saw, they had to retcon it because Jennifer Morrison chose to leave the show. They had to figure out some sort of story to make this work without Emma. They realized they had a realm that didn't have Emma in it, that had Hook in it, that they could use, so they had to retcon it. It doesn't work the same way it was essentially originally supposed to work when we saw it in season 6.
Exactly. If they hadn't retconned it, something even worse would have happened. Colin probably would have elected not to come back.
Oh, so no.
Because there would be nothing left for him to do.
So the fact that it wasn't real to begin with needs to leave everybody's thought process, because that's not what we're working with here. I think they've tried to do is, it was a realm that was always there, and when Regina twisted Emma's wish, it opened up the doorway between this realm that was always in existence.
Okay.
A realm that is...
it was a parallel universe.
Yeah.
It ran on level with what was happening in the Storybook, but the curse had never been cast. It was always there, but Regina, using wish magic, bridged the two.
And warped it to her own ends.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, she didn't warp it. It was already there.
That makes sense.
So
why would she wish Emma into a place where she was locked up or where she had been banished?
Where's the real Emma then?
I don't...
That's the running. There's speculation that when Emma was wished into this parallel universe, it killed the Emma that was there.
Oh crap!
Or when she was wished into this some sort of magic, put that other Emma somewhere else.
Maybe.
I think that's too much. That's too much speculation to bother with at this point. And really, at this point, does it make a difference?
But the bottom line is,
there's 4 more episodes left.
Regina still killed the Snow and Charming of that world.
Yeah, she did.
I know, but there's 4 more episodes left. Does it really matter anymore?
It doesn't matter, and I don't understand why people are still so caught up on the whole wish realm thing. Like, just at this point,
Well,
it's like the timeline. The timeline isn't gonna make sense. Just go with it.
yeah,
the timeline
but
hasn't made sense in years, but you just go with the flow.
You just gotta go with it.
I'm just
Ro,
saying.
what are you getting hung up on here?
Wish Henry's in the finale.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean the realm wasn't there.
We all knew that he wasn't going to stop until he found the person that murdered his grandparents. He made that readily apparent, so it wouldn't surprise me.
They go to that realm. We know they go to that realm because we saw the snowing statue in the filming spoilers. So
why did they go to that realm at all?
Who knows? We don't know what's happening. Colin has said that the finale is wild. So
oh god.
He said in an interview that the finale is it's crazy. It's
okay, well, instead of continuing to speculate on a finale that we know nothing about, all we can say for certain is that Facilier is a very bad person who's up to no good. Rumple is stuck between a rock and a hard place. We all feel for Regina, but she needs to power it down just a little and try to understand things from Rumple's perspective in this. And maybe they need to try to understand each other. Maybe if she gives him a chance, he might be able to help her figure out some way that he can save Henry before it's too late. Roger's Hook was badass as usual. Tilly and Margot were great as usual. And in next week's episode, The Flower Child, this will be our opportunity to see the backstory for Gothel and to figure out what her motivation is exactly in doing what it is that she's doing to raise the Coven. So we're finally going to see the members of the Coven, and they're going directly after Tilly. I guess now that they're certain that they must be certain that she's the Guardian, because Gothel couldn't use Anastasia the way she wanted to, and Anastasia went back to her own realm. So now she has to use the only other option she's got, which is Tilly, to do whatever the hell is that she's trying to do.
It's ironic that she ended up creating the Guardian herself.
I think that's the point.
It is a likely bet that Tilly and Hook are going to be awoken from their curse in this upcoming episode. Very likely. Very likely.
I hope so. I hope he wakes up finally. If we have to wait another week after next week, I'm going to be so frustrated.
And also, on the other point, Henry seems to finally be coming around to the possibility that what Lucy has been saying about him and about the book might actually be true, now that he's seen the results of the paternity test and he's confronted Jacinda with it. There's some clips in that promo that suggest that he might finally come around to believing that what's in the book is true. And I'm not sure if he's going to wake up in this episode, but it's
probably not
either this one or the week after.
Based on the name of the title for 720, I would guess that he wakes up in that episode.
But we are inching ever closer.
Yes.
I like the idea of Lucy finally being validated for what she believed in, the way Henry was when Emma believed him.
She has been. She was when Regina confirmed who she was.
Yeah, but I mean, it's more important for her mom and her father to believe.
I guess so.
All right, so y'all know that Creation is doing their Chicago Con this weekend. I would talk about it if it weren't for the fact that Colin is not there. So there's really little about it. There's really little about it that's of interest to me. Did Rose say anything particularly interesting?
She was talking about when she first met Colin and how Colin knew about the story, what was going to happen with Alice, and he kind of teased her about it. So at dinner later on, she would ask Adam, and Adam said that Alice was going to be Killian's daughter, and then she went back and she told him. That's where the banter started between them, because he had started off teasing her. So that's where the whole, she calls him Pops and grandpops and all that stuff. And
yeah, I think that Alice, that Rose had said something like that before at a previous time.
Yeah.
Today is gonna be like the karaoke part of
That,
That was
con?
yesterday.
that was last night.
Today is Colin and Rose's pound, and tomorrow's probably going to be Bex, Emily.
No,
Sean.
today. No. Today was Rose and Emily. Emily was filling in for Colin's gold panel today with Rose.
And then tomorrow is probably Bex. I don't know if Lana's going to be there or not. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Lana's there.
Lana
I know
and Bex
Giles is there. I know Giles is there. I know Beverly's there. Chris Gauthier. Karen David is there.
Jared is there.
I think this is the first con that did not include Michael Coleman.
No, yeah. Vancouver. Nope, Vancouver didn't have Michael Coleman.
Oh.
It's here. It's sad for Lana.
Now, apart from that, we do have a little interesting tidbit of information to share. I don't know how much truth there is to it, so I'm going to codify this right now by saying that this is completely spec. Believe it at your leisure or not. But I've been seeing around Tumblr, people, Colin fans are trying very, very hard to figure out what exactly this mystery project has going on.
No. Let's not get into that. Don't get into that. Please don't get into that.
Why not?
It's nothing but it's only pure speculation. It is
I'm
only
not going to say that I think it's true.
I'm just
a reporter here. I'm just a reporter here.
Trust me. Don't do anything. Don't comment on any of that, because the only way we're going to know for sure is if it comes from an official source or Colin himself. So let's just let that one go.
Look,
trust me.
Best of luck to him. That's all I can say.
Yes, he's obviously doing something right now, whatever it is. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. And we only know that he's doing something right now because he had to cancel the convention this weekend. That's it. Let's leave it at that.
All I'm going to say about this is I don't know what it is that he's doing. All I know for certain is that he's done some things on Twitter that have raised some eyebrows with some people.
Let's not comment on his Twitter activity. Please.
Is it a good thing? Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
I'm not saying what it is.
No, but let's not comment on it at all.
Why?
We shouldn't. No. We need to let this go. Trust me. Just let it go.
Like Elsa?
Yes.
As you have said, but I agree that I don't want to speculate or make assumptions or anything of
Let's not
that
kick
sort.
up any rumors about anything.
So whenever Colin decides to tell us what he's doing, I'm sure he will at some future date.
I hope it has something to do with Jen.
No, let's just let it all go.
I want to say a congratulations to JMO for all the amazing work she did with Sun Dogs and all the awards she's been getting for that. Well-deserved awards. She's been running a huge press circuit the last couple of months in LA and Chicago and Vancouver and Toronto and everywhere, hawking this film that she's done such a great job with and gotten all kinds of awards and stuff. Last thing, a little bit of housekeeping announcement. Normally we do podcasts every weekend, but on May 12th, which is Saturday, that's the day after the first half of the finale, just to clear things up, to make sure you all understand. The finale is 21 and 22. Normally in the past, the finales were always those two episodes aired together on one night. But this year, they're airing them on separate nights. So on May 11th is episode 21, Homecoming. And then on May 18th, a week after that, is the second half, which is episode 22, Leaving Storybrooke. Normally, I would have a podcast on May 12th after episode 21, but I have plans that day. So we've decided that we're going to do one last podcast on May 19th, which will encompass both episodes together, so we can discuss the finale as a whole.
Yeah.
So May 12th, there will not be a podcast on that day. Unless something falls through with my plans. And of course, I will make sure to let everybody online know. But for right now, on May 12th, there will not be a podcast.
But I just hope that my or Serena or Shannon come for the last podcast, at least to say goodbye officially to Once Upon a Time.
So, any final thoughts about The Guardian before we
Loved
call
it
a day?
Loved it. Thought it was a fantastic episode. One of the best episodes of the season, honestly. It's up there. It was up there with Nightfall and Eloise Gardner and A Pirate's Life. It was up there. It was pretty high up there for me.
Me too. Props for Bridget Hales, who was one of the writers of this episode.
Yes,
she did. It was her final job as writer of this series, and I'm very, very grateful she did it. And I will never forget the episode she's done, especially the CS Pancake one. I'm from season 6, which was very dear to me. And the rest of the episode she's done in all these seasons of the show. So thank you, Bridget. And also, I loved everything about this episode, including the Matt Archer stuff, the Rumple stuff, the everything. And also, I want to say that I hope that the next episode will reveal what is really, really about Vasily's agenda with the dagger. And also, I'm hoping that the Wish Hook and Alice wake up in this next episode, because that will be awesome.
Ro?
Well, I mean, it wasn't the worst Rumple-centric, but I'm happy it's the last.
Final thoughts from me. Kudos for one to Bobby. He knocked that shit straight out of the park. Normally, it is not like me. If you all know me at all, you know that Rumple is not my favorite character